Hi everyone, what day is it today? Welcome back to Shaman Sisters and thank you for tuning in. I am Nova.
I am Gachi, and we are not experts, and our perspective may be different from yours as well. Today, we will share some of our stories with you all from our childhood up until now.
And just a little bit disclaimer, some of the stories might be scary, not all. But before we do that, I did want to share something that happened like last weekend. My mom and Yatai went over to my sister's house to go bless her house, right? So my mom was throwing the red corn kernel everywhere. And one got lodged in her tub drain. So, of course, it started sprouting a little and she threw it away. And she told us me and Kachi that she threw it away, and we're like, "What? That's the most precious thing ever! Is the red corn stalk? Like of it growing." And she's like, "Oh, I thought people just dip corn into pig's blood." And she's like,
I
"No,
know.
it has to be
So
goat's blood."
stupid.
I'm like, "Can somebody help this
I
girl? She is so dumb."
I know, and I was explaining to her that, during fall, Rayleigh's and Walmart and Smart and Final and stuff,
Everywhere
yes, they
else.
sell red corn, right? Because it's during fall season, like it's for fall, for decorations. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I thought they only sold it at mall stores." I'm like, "Oh my god."
I don't remember if I shared this with you all, but when I was in like fourth, fifth, and sixth grade, right, I had a lot of body aches and pain. I know this part I did. But then when I was in fifth grade, like my mom, she took me to do a card reading at one of our relatives' house, and he wasn't a shaman, he was just doing card readings. I think I probably shuffled the cards, and then I picked out some cards, or he laid it out, and then he was telling me that, oh, like my spirit got trapped, that it's tied up, that's why my whole body is aching. And that I went with a certain friend, which I was really hanging out with my, like, one of my Filipino childhood friends at this time. But yeah, you guys went somewhere you're not supposed to, and you stepped on something you're not supposed to. So those spirits tied your spirit and her spirit up. So then you have to die, like after this, I have to die for Benu, and not go outside. And then he also proceeded to say that I was gonna have 10 kids. At that moment I was like, what? 10 kids? Oh my, I think that scarred me for life, because now I don't even want to think about 10 kids. I was like, oh hell no, 10 kids? That is not gonna be me. I am not gonna have 10 kids. Aside from that reading, he said I couldn't say my friend's name anymore, or it would happen again. But I did say her name. The first time I said it was out by accident. But then I couldn't avoid saying her name because it's such a like common American name, Stacy. So anyways, yeah. So that was my first card reading ever, which went horrible because it scarred me for life.
Oh wow, I remember like growing up, we used to live at this corner house, right? Yes, that corner house, you guys, this was actually haunted. But anyways, this is like my first experience with anything ever. I remember like my grandma was so bando at the sliding doors because that's where the light would, like the sunlight would come in from, and we were all sitting next to her because we were young. We were probably like 4, 5, so we were just sitting around her, laying around her, playing. And straight from where I was laying down was the hallway from the kitchen to like the hallway to the bedrooms. And as I turned and looked up to the hallway, I just remember seeing like this very short, scary figure, messy hair. Yeah, just staring right back at me. And as a kid, I didn't know what to do, so I just slowly went back down to my sleeping position I slowly like closed my eyes and rode the other way. Yes. I didn't know what to think. I was just like, oh my gosh. But now thinking of it, older, now thinking of it, I'm just like, oh my god, I know exactly what I saying or what I saw. And I remember in the house, okay, so like, you remember how like grandma, me, and my other two siblings used to share a bedroom together because we were a lot younger, and that was like the master bedroom. So I remember like each and every time, and it wasn't only me who experienced this, my sister did too, where we would like run, because that bedroom's the last bedroom down the hall. So if we would run down the hall, and then like as soon as we enter the door to our right, there's like this bucket right there. So I remember like I ran, and then when I turned to look on the right, my brother was sitting right there. And then I would turn back and then turn and look again, and it's gone. Now I know what crazy. It is.
Thank God. Yeah.
But as
God.
kids, yes, we don't think about stuff
never
like this as kids,
experienced that at the house. So, grandma would always scare us though.
I do remember something though. Yes, I do remember something though. It was with you at that house. I think mom had made me go get her a pillow from her bedroom. It was probably like 5-6 p.m. at night, like later in the day, and then there's no windows in the hallway, so it's pretty dark, and I was walking out of mom's room with a white pillow, and here comes you. You got scared, you screamed, and you pushed me as a kid to the wall, and I scraped my elbow. I remember that. And I was like, oh my god, ouch. I was a kid. And this lady
to be fair though, you guys all know when you're faced with a situation is fight or flight. So mine is always going to be flight. So whoever stands in my way
and fight. You pushed me. Not push, she shoved me to the wall. I
don't remember
elbow.
that. I think you're making this up.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm not. She literally did that. That hella so.
Oh my gosh. You know what I just remembered?
You guys, she's crazy. You guys just hear what she said. Out of nowhere.
I just remember there was a time when it was like, it was in the evening, not super late yet, but it was in the evening. And our first living room where it got converted to a bedroom where our oldest brother slept. I was playing around, and I went into that room, and I saw this shadow, and I was so scared. I was like calling out for my mom, and of course my mom came in. And she was like, what is it? I was like, what is that shadow over there? So she was trying to make me feel better by saying that, oh, it's just the iron board, because I don't think that iron board can make a shadow like that. Okay, that one I couldn't run, but everything else I freaking run. That reminds me. Okay, so this brings us to our cigar, right? So when I was younger, and this is probably before you were born, Kachi. We live in these duplexes, but that's not even the point. Let me just get to the story. So main point of the story was that I accidentally touched the cigar. And, our parents are always telling us, and maybe many of you too, to not touch the cigar. Like, it's this holy thing in the house where, it's house guides and spirits that guards our house. So I accidentally touched it. And then I remember getting sick. I was sick for a couple days. Like, I got a fever right away. It was after that I learned my lesson. Oh, wow. I never touch a cigar, but after that, but I have made mine fall on accident before I started my journey. I made them fall twice because I was fixing my rug and I like kind of more yoga to fix it, and the wind kind of blew it down. I did say sorry both times. I was really sorry.
You know what's very interesting about, growing up and everything though, and what I love the most now is that throughout our whole childhood, our master was actually in it.
That's right.
Yes, she actually like was a part of our whole life. Pretty much like she wasn't there to watch us grow up, of course, but then we saw her.
She was there for me.
Up.
This was before you as well.
Oh, excuse you.
This was before you. So when they first got to, I think, Sacramento, when they first came to Sacramento, and I think that's when they came from Laos or Thailand, they lived with us. They lived with us for a couple years. I forget how long, but they lived with us. And so we did grow up with, I grew up with my master and my Sisyphe. I think when we were living in those apartments, our old apartments too, they also lived next door. And then after that, they moved out of town. But yeah, she was, her and our Sisyphe was always a part of our lives. When we did go out of town to visit, we always went to go visit them. Visit them.
It was always to their house. And I just find that very special now because like all along they were here. And it's not that we never noticed them.
Yeah.
But it's just that they never stood out to us at that point just yet, up until our shamanic callings. Yeah. Like, you know, until our upbringing and everything. And that's when I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Because I was always so intimidated by our Sisyphe, right? I was always so intimidated. Because I am not Nyakopa, okay? I am more like Nyahipo.
She's not McDonald.
Yes. Like during our Jingle Bell ceremonies, like I would never be there to like help out. And not saying that I'm a Nya, but you know, like even when I was like still a daughter of their family, I wasn't like, I did help out, but not to that extent of, oh, you know, going the whole 9 yards. And we didn't have like a connection or talk to her because we were so scared. Of course, because we were kids and we don't talk to elders.
Yes. So I find that very interesting. And like I said, it's so awesome now that we have such a good connection with her.
Yay.
Like our sister, how she remember us, like just not too long ago, we would fight to talk to her on the phone or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She has become a part of my everyday life. So every day, I talk to my grandma. I talk to my mom probably like once a week or so. And then now I talk to my Sisyphe almost every day. Yeah.
Yeah, same here. I know, it's just, besides, you know, Nova and my other sister that we talk to every day, my Sisyphe and my grandma are like the two main people I talk to.
I appreciate that the growth of our relationship with them too. It's so funny to hear their stories. I really wish like we can record it. And also in our future episodes, we will invite her.
We were just with them today. And it was hilarious. It's never a dull moment with them.
Stay tuned to that episode in the future when we invite her as well.
But yeah, also, you know, just growing up, I felt like I came across a lot of like spiritual activities. So I don't know what it was or what had happened, but I remember hanging out with one of my girlfriends this one night, and she took me home. It wasn't late. I would say it was like 9-10, because at that time I didn't really go out as much anymore because I already had a child, so I didn't really go out. But it was just like a little short girls' night. We went for a drink and came back, and she dropped me off. And that night, I remember like it was not even a dream, but it was like I had dreamt that there was like this thing in front of me, like a very scary face in front of me, and this is when I was looking facing the wall. So like it just came through the wall to me. It was a female, long hair, a very scary face, and like it was just so scary. Like, and I remember I got scared from that. So the next day I went to work, And this is like where like I would close the store by myself because we were really short staffed. So I will always be there. I'll say like 4 to 5 hours by myself, and I was the closing person. So it was already 7 p.m., 8, and around that time, it was dark already. Well, the time switched around, so it was kind of dark already. And usually I'm never scared. I don't ever call my mom to make her stay on the phone with me. But as I was closing at the register, like I just remember getting this really warm and hot, like feeling push up against me. And as soon as I felt that pressure push against my back, like it started from my head. I started sweating all the way down to like the bottom of my foot. And right after that, I just felt like, bam, someone's right there. And I'm just like, what is this feeling? Oh my gosh. And I still have to go into the vault to like put the money away.
Oh my goodness.
So I was so scared, and I was the only one there by myself. So what do? I called my mom, and I tried to play it cool, like it was something. I was like, oh, hey mom, what are you doing? And I was on the phone with mom. And I was just telling her, oh, I'm just by myself. Can you just wait for me, to close out, because it's very dark and I'm by myself. So she waited for me. She was talking to me on the phone. And then when I finished, I went out to my car and I hung up the phone with her. And I remember my sister telling me the next day that, yeah, mom said you're never scared. But then that day was different. I was like, yeah, it was different. And I told her exactly what happened. And so then I had to cook Jane for me because of whatever happened. And just like from then on, I just felt like living in the house. I just felt like,
I think that was like the first trigger of all of the paranormal activities that happened to you afterwards. Remember that owl?
Oh my gosh, yes. There was an owl that died in front of my window, and I don't even know what happened. But actually, jumping back to that, I remember I would get like wake up call visits if I'm not sleeping at my house, and because I don't typically sleep over at people's house, but then when I do, the next morning around 6 to 7, I would get a wake up call visit from someone. Like they will come and visit me. They will come and call my name and say my name, or come and they will come in my dream. Then I'm not dreaming anymore. I'm just drowsy. They will come and just stare at me like face to face.
Oh my god. Okay. Well, mine's is on a lighter note. Yeah, like 6th grade. We went to American River in Sacramento. We went to go have a picnic, and we then, like a group of us, along with a couple adults, we walked off to this opening where the river was there. There's like a shallower part, and then there's a part where it gets deeper. So I didn't know how to swim. So I was on the shallow part, but as I was swimming, I got caught by the drift and I almost drowned. I remember like being pulled down, and I remember being pulled down and I was gasping for air. Like, I don't know, like the spirits were probably looking out for me that day because I was able to like swim away, get out of that drift, because that was a strong drift. It was like, I was so scared I was just going to be pulled away.
That's so scary.
Yeah, so I also, being a kid, didn't want to get in trouble, so I never told anyone. Yeah, I would have got my ass beat by my parents and everyone else.
For almost drowning,
even though it was traumatic for me.
Not even your fault.
They're gonna be like, "Come on, Badachi." But anyway. And then there was like another incident where I was walking to high school. I was going to school and I crossed, and this is just in my neighborhood. So, you're just crossing like the small little corners. And this Asian lady, she did not see me. So she kind of hit me, but luckily she was going like slow because she was supposed to come to a stop at that stop anyways. And I was already like almost halfway. She didn't see me, so she kind of hit me, and I felt like the impact of it, but it wasn't enough to like fall for me to fly over or anything. It was just like a bump, but it like a hard bump. And then she got out the car. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry I didn't see you. Da-da-da, this and that." I was like, "It's okay." You know, me being like a kid, I was like, "It's okay. Let me just get on with my day." But however, come to find out, yeah. So for both events, my spirit go for at the river and there. So when I started my journey, like one day in the car as I was driving, right? This is probably just a couple months ago. I was driving, and then all of a sudden I like thought back to that moment when I almost drowned, and I was like, man, if I drowned, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't get to meet like my Nyesifu, even though she was there with me my whole life, but like I wouldn't be able to meet her in this setting, you know. And I was like, oh, I'm so lucky. And so I actually found out later that it was because my guys were trying to show me that so I had to go raise my own spirit. And so I did, and that was my first time where I really had to go and Chanju and like, you know, do all that stuff. So after I raised myself from the river, which was very interesting, I saw myself like tied down at the bottom of the water. That was sad. It was really sad. I remember being so emotional about it, but I was able to raise myself, and then they took me to where the car hit me. And I was like, oh, this place too, huh? So I had to raise my spirit there as well. So that was a very good lesson.
So for those of you who are asking why she still have a spirit, it's because they will go out and chew. Okay.
That is right.
Kevin say it. Yeah, that's actually very interesting. Like growing up, and we're sisters, and I don't even know half of these stories about you. You know?
Oh yeah, I don't think I ever told anyone.
Very interesting. No, because she was scared to get her ass beat. And you know, as kids, I would have told my parents like she almost drowned prior to starting like, of course, my shaman journey and everything. I actually currently have a few tattoos, and so for those of you who are wondering, tattoos are totally fine in my eyes. Okay, but I remember I wanted to cover up a tattoo, and I had got this cover up tattoo a few months prior to me starting my journey only, okay? And this is like before I found out I was officially like gifted. So even like I remember like trying to set up an appointment to get this tattoo covered, and each and every time I set it up an appointment, it would get canceled. Even when I had put a down payment, like a deposit on getting my tattoo covered, it was canceled, you know, so it was really upsetting. But at the end, I actually found a tattoo artist who was able to do it for me, and it was done. But then my last 30 minutes of getting this tattoo done, I was in hell. Like, I was in so much pain where, like, you know, the tattoo pen was like scraping my soul, and I was burning. Like, I felt
that's
like it was
awful.
burning in hell. Like, yes, I think that's how it feels, because I was literally burning. Like, my skin was burning. I was in so much pain. I didn't want to laugh at this point. I was just gripping onto everything I could.
Okay.
I was just like, fuck this tattoo. Sorry. I was just like, forget this tattoo, but you know, I was already done. I know, I said sorry. But yes, so that's what happened. I got it done, got it covered, whatever. My guides still don't like it. They still talk about it daily, but I'm just like, whatever. It's already been done. You shouldn't told me in 2014 then.
I did tell you not to get it in 2014, but you still got it.
Sure. Anyways, so prior to that, so this is just all last year, okay? So prior to me getting my tattoo cover up, I had went to go get my nose pierced for the second time. I had got my nose pierced back in 2014, and a year later it came out. So I went to go get my nose pierced the beginning of last year, and just like a few days after I got it pierced, and mind you, I actually did clean my nose really well and everything. I had purchased, all the equipment or whatever to take care of my nose ring, but just a few days after, this little bump grew next to my ring, and every other day it would pop and it would bleed, and there was no explanation. It was so disgusting, but I was like, I'm not taking this off. This is gonna close. But so every other day it would bleed and whatever. So this one night I was just drinking, and it popped off. And when I woke up the next morning, my nose healed. I was like, what is this? I was like, what is this? How is this fair? So I no longer have a nose.
Oh, that reminds me. So when I first set my appointments to get my brows microbladed, I made an appointment. This was like pre-COVID, right? And so I made an appointment, and then bam, the public health pandemic happened, where it's COVID-19. So everything got delayed, and I couldn't go do my brows. And then I finally just decided, okay, let me just find a closer place. And so when everything started reopening, I booked an appointment with a microblade artist near me. And the first 2 times she canceled the appointment due to health reasons, like her personal health reasons. But I was like, oh my God, like if I don't get to go this 3rd time, then maybe it's just not meant for me. And at this time, I just found out that I was gifted, but I still wanted to get my brows done to make my life easier. So I know.
What a rebel.
But I'm gonna tell you though, microbladed brows are so, like, they're just so good. They're so good.
Wonderful.
I cannot thank my aunt enough for referring me, because I just love waking up and not having to spend 15 minutes to do my brow.
I was the trendsetter for them. I was
Were
the
you?
first one to get it. Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. I think our aunt got it first.
No, I got it before.
Okay.
Yes. And then everybody wanted to get it. I was like, yep, they were talking all about bad brows. Look at them now.
My brows ain't bad. But yeah, so what was my point anyways? Oh yeah, so it got canceled, but then finally on the 3rd time I was able to get my brows done. And the minute I laid down on that table and the artist started using the microblade thing to sketch my brows, before she started putting ink in, that first scratch on the skin, oh my goodness, I felt something hold my leg. I was so scared, and I thought to myself in my head, I said, okay, I have guides, so they're going to protect me. Little did I know it was actually my guides, because they didn't want me to do my brows. But then finally, after I said that, and I said, okay, and then so I went through the whole appointment. I'm gonna say though, it hurted a lot. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Okay, so your scary dreams. Okay, this is very, I would say, borderline scary. So when my husband and I, we just got married, I had a lot of bad dreams.
I remember
I had a lot of bad dreams. I don't think we ever did a Jingle Bell ceremony for me.
Oh, okay. I remember. Sorry, Nova. But remember how you and I used to share a room? And after I heard about the story, I just wanted to punch you so hard in your face because I was so upset. I remember you telling us a while ago that, because we used to have those big house phones where like it connects and whatever to the whatever cord. And like, so Nova and I used to share a room growing up, and she would stay late on the phone with her boyfriend and everything. And I guess the cord had cut off, or it had unplugged on accident. But then the whole time she was still talking to somebody. So when she figured that out, she went to sleep with my grandma.
Remember.
Yes, you told us this.
I don't remember.
You don't remember this? Oh my god! Yes, you told us this, that when you found out that the phone cord it came off and you were not actually on the phone with your boyfriend or husband now, you went to sleep with grandma. And
I don't remember because I was actually using grandma's cell phone.
No, it wasn't her cell phone. Remember that white phone we used to have in the room that you would use? I remember all the scary shit that happened to her.
Maybe it's suppressed, but I don't remember the. Oh yeah. Anyways, yeah. Going back. Okay, so my first dream, and this is probably the first dream of the series that started everything. So similar to Nova's, like at that time, I was sleeping by the wall, and
similar to Nova. Go on, Nova.
I mean, similar to Gachi. I slept by the window in the wall, and so during this dream, like I remember it vividly. It was like a dream and also not, but a voice came from the wall and asked if I wanted to go with him, and I said no because I'm married already and I have my husband here. He's right here, and then it just kept talking to me, and so I was like, no, I don't want to. Right, so that's that was the end of that first one.
Wow.
And then the next dream.
And you never?
Yeah, I never had one done. The second dream was I was dreaming, and I was in my our old house backyard, where my husband and I used to live, and all of a sudden, like, it was supposedly his dad, but his dad had already passed away. But that person came up to me and was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take you," and it like locked. It took his hand, and locked it with mine, and bit my hand, and then all of a sudden, his paws turned into tiger paws. I mean, his hand turned into tiger paws. And so I was like, no, like, I can't go with you. I already have my husband. And so, yeah, I just remember going to my nyatai and having her tie string on me. I never got, like, a ceremony done, but, I mean, hey.
You definitely needed one.
Okay. But we were kids at that time. We were married very young. And yeah, like my parents, I already married out the house, so my parents couldn't do anything, but yeah, so it was scary. There was so many things that I remember happened, but I can't for the life of me recall it. Probably got suppressed, like,
yeah, I just explained one. Thank you all for tuning in to Sister Shaman Sisters. We're out of it tonight. But again, thank you for tuning in, and hopefully we see you guys again in our next episode. Bye.